Hello, this is Sensei Gary from Real Dojo Hawaiian Kempo. Yeah, I live here in Arizona, and today we're going to go ahead and have a class right here. I was doing it, I had like a little community area there in our community there where I was actually doing the wazas and the kats. I was filming it there, but because of this virus going around, they went ahead and closed it. So I'm going to go ahead and use the wall here from my small apartment and record it. Very limited in space, but I'll go ahead and do my best to go ahead and share with you basically the knowledge that I learned from different senseis from like 1972 to 1958, and which I still carry within me. So we're going to go ahead and learn today is basically already, before you go ahead and do some of the training here, just warm up your body, stretch out and the whole thing. And today we're going to go ahead and learn what's called BTRP, which stands for breaking the ribs punch. So a lot of us, when you're learning karate or you're learning Hawaiian Kempo, what you're going to go ahead and learn today is how to go ahead and, because there's a lot of blocks and punches and strike like that. But I'm going to go ahead and share with you how to go ahead and use your physical, what's the word I want like that? Anyways, how do you go ahead and use what you have already within you to develop a super powerful punch enough to go ahead and break the ribs. That's why it's called breaking the ribs. Basically putting full power and everything, using your body and strategies that we're going to go ahead and do. All right, so to go ahead and start out, already, we won't do the meditation right now. We're going to get right into it. I went ahead and I got some shorts on right now, basically, so you can go ahead and see some of the leg work that I'm going to be doing. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get into your, basically, a fighting stance with your hands up right here. And we're going to go ahead and start working on, in order to go ahead and develop and use our body's physics and basically there's a lot to it, okay? But basically, in order for us to go ahead and do it, like for example, Wazo 1, I'm sure everybody knows Wazo 1, the strikes coming in here. Maybe somebody's trying to grab my throat, somebody's trying to push me, or trying to punch toward my chest. Basically, everybody already knows, like step to the side, and then to go ahead and do your punch, like that, right? So today we're going to go ahead and learn how to go ahead and put power in the punch, which you'll be able to go ahead and use it for other strikes as well. All right, so in your fighting stance, now you have your fighting stance here, your hands are here, up here. We're going to go ahead and count this, we're going to do 7. And then the first part is, in order to go ahead and put power and develop your power, one of the places where you're going to get some of that power is from pushing from your heel. So let's go ahead and from here, hands up, follow me, and then we're going to do 7 counts of pushing from the heel. Lift the heel up, maybe about ½ inch, and then like this in here. So let's go, ready, each, pulling the heel up, ni, san, chi, go, hook, 6, and 7. There. So we got the heel exercise there. Next part we're going to go ahead and do is, my apologies, sometimes I forget things. But I'm basically teaching and sharing information much more from the heart and from my passion and from my gut. So just bear with me, okay? So the next part we're going to go ahead and do and learn in order to go ahead and get full power. And like I said, this is called breaking the ribs punch. How to use your full potential is we're going to work the legs. The legs, the muscles that go from the hip to the knee and the knee to the heel. We're going to go ahead and use that as well in order to do that powerful punch. So 7 counts, pushing just with the muscles, the hip to knee, knee to the heel, and pushing forward. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. The next part, we got the heel, we got the muscles here, is the hip. Alrighty? from the hip. Very powerful, very powerful. Also when you use your hip in here. From the hip, here's what we're gonna do is, we're gonna do 7 counts of twisting the hip. Basically, it's this. When I do a strike, you know, as long as I put my hip in there, because there's a lot of power that I'm gonna be able to get from using my hip to here. So, let's go ahead and do 7 of those. Ready? I want you to do is, you have your hands up, just twisting your hip like this. Like that. Hands here, and twist your hip. Ready? 1, good. 2, 3, good. 4, good. 5, good. 6, good. 7, good. All right. Got the heel, the leg muscles. Now we got the hip. The next is, when I'm gonna go ahead and do the strike, whether it's pump or a punch or whatever it is like there, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is strike that. I'm gonna go ahead and put, I weigh 170 pounds, so I'm gonna put 170 pounds behind my strike right there. So this is also 770 pounds of torque coming into my punch. It's gonna do a lot of damage. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is use our body weight. I take a lot of medication, but anyways, that's my, drink a little water. Sorry about that. So, now we're gonna go ahead and you're using your body weight. Here's what we're gonna go ahead and do. Follow along, and I want you to go ahead and slide forward. Like I said, with a punch, I'm gonna put my weight into it too, my torque. So here's what I want you to do. Push forward with your weight, not leaning down this way and pushing. Keep your back straight. And you're gonna go ahead and you move from your center, from right here, from your center, when you move back. So this is what we're gonna go ahead, going forward, and do 7 of those, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's it, right there. Next one, the shoulder. Oh my God, my gosh. The shoulder, you can get a lot of power from the shoulder. There's a fighter, McGregor. He had a fight. He was a man, I don't know, his name is the Cowboy. Anyways, he had a MMA fight, and when people were there looking at it, they saw this cowboy go down because of a roundhouse kick. Threw him a roundhouse kick. The cowboy went down. Then McGregor went over there and started hammering him. People didn't realize that before the fight even started, before he even threw any kicks, McGregor used his shoulder. When the cowboy came over here, or the opponent came, he wanted to go ahead and come, and McGregor was practically helping him. You want to come this way? Well, go ahead and come this way. And by coming this way, he was going ahead and doing one of these, using his shoulder. And he, with his shoulder, he popped this cowboy about 4 times with his shoulder. When they were ready to go ahead and back up and ready to start the fight, this guy, cowboy, already had his nose broken. He had blood on his nose already. That break of the nose basically came from, I'm not sure if he broke his nose all the way, but he was messed up. He had trouble breathing out of his nose. That's bad shape already for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever it was. So the shoulder, you get a lot of power from there. Like I said, before he started to go ahead and fight, before he threw any of that roundhouse kick like that, cowboy over here had his nose already like busted up. So very important. Use that shoulder. Another boxer, I see Manny. Manny, like this, he went ahead, and not only with his heel, his hip, his twist, and his shoulder, and plus his extension, many boxers, when I'm fighting him, they think they're backing up and they're clear. Like most boxers, they would be clear of getting hit, but Manny still reaches out, and by using his hip, his shoulder, his leg like that, he's able to reach out another like 6 inches or something like that, and he's tagging these guys backing up. So that's a very also a fine example of how these two boxers use what I'm kind of sharing with you, or some of it as well. I'm not a boxer, but I just kind of like wanted to use that as an example. So, shoulder. I want you to go ahead and like twist the shoulder, and we're gonna do 7 of those. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Using the shoulder. So we've got all this combination over here going. We got the heel, we got the muscles, we got the hip, we got our weight behind it. We do the strike, you know. We got the shoulder. The next thing is speed. When you have speed, when you have this right behind you, the things I just shared with you, this is also, you can go ahead and power from that. One of the ways that you go ahead and practice speed is basically like, we're gonna go ahead and do, like for example, throwing a jab, alrighty? My mother used to go ahead and snap her fingers. She would have them so relaxed that her fingers would go ahead, you could hear the sound of them snapping, basically, you know, like, I think, not as good as she was, but anyways, you get the idea. When you go ahead and do your strike, you're gonna go ahead and do your strike like that. You wanna go ahead and, right now, we're gonna practice, basically I said, it's having your hand become like it's a whip. It just snaps. By the time that sound happens, the punch or the striker is already like done with. So we're gonna go ahead and do right now, just so you get the idea. I'm gonna face this way, hands are up. I want you to go ahead and just snap, relax the muscles and everything. Just throw your fingers out there, your hands out there. Well, you don't have to throw your fingers like that, but basically, but the idea is relax and throwing it, but keeping everything loose. Like I said, the whip. There's 7 of those. Ready? And each. 8, 7, 8, go, 6, 7, right there. All right, so the next is, this one is called breaking through the boards. Breaking through the boards basically means is, what I'm going to share with you is like this. When I was about 13, 14 years old, Sensei Bill, Grandmaster Bill Risaki, he would go ahead and pick me up from my place, and because it was during the week, it would just be me and him. So we would go ahead and do a demonstration at a Boy Scouts at a school, middle school or so, or junior high, and this is in California. And at the middle school right there, basically, he would have me do some of the wasp, you know, the wazas, some of the judo, and you know, the sayonagi, the full sayonagi, the judo throws, and then some of the aikido. So I loved it because I looked like a champ, you know, I was like the hero. But anyways, one day though, he surprised me. When he would pick me up, he had his bag, like usually with the equipment on there. But I'm here on the stage, he goes to his bag and he brings out these boards, 2 of them. And they're about 12 inches by 12 inches square like this. He puts them both like this. And he goes, Gary, take your fighting stance. I take my fighting stance. He said, punch the board. So I go and I'm trying to be funny too. I didn't show that face to the Boy Scouts there, but I kind of like, oh my gosh. He just stayed there looking at me. He didn't say nothing else. He goes, Gary, punch the board. So here I go again. I'm like, oh, shoot. And then he tells me, he goes, Gary, punch through the boards, punch my chest. And when I did that, like man, those boards broke and they snapped. And I'll tell you, what a great feeling, what a great sound. So that's what I'm talking about, is punching through. Aiming 6 inches behind the actual point of contact or further. So that's called breaking the boards. Another, I'm gonna make sure I got everything covered over here, is when we're gonna go ahead and do this. Like I said, we're gonna use example, probably for now, like Waza 1. You already know the move. Hands are up here, the block. And from here, when we do the punch right here, we're using what we learned right now, we're applying it. That punch that I tell you that's like a whip, when it comes ready to make the contact and breaking through those boards or ribs as it's called, when you're twisting right there, we want you to tighten up your stomach, your leg, your chest, and the muscles. You tighten it up full. It's like dynamic, it's called. And what you're using is basically, when I'm going to do that strike, I'm using my two knuckles here. I'm using the muscles that I developed. This is many years ago, it's still there though, from the muscles on the top of the hand, the muscles, my forearm muscles, and my elbow. When you do a punch in karate wine kempo, when you do a punch, you want to go ahead and have the elbow follow those knuckles. Basically, like I'm gonna say is, excuse me, like if you have a tube, you're gonna go through that tube right there, and where the knuckles go, the elbow. Don't punch like upward this way. Go through the tube. Put a little hanger or something hanging somewhere, a coat hanger or a piece of wire, and practice punching. Punching through that wire right there. So you can go ahead and do it. So on dynamic, we'll go ahead and do 7 of those. On dynamic, what I want you to do is, here we go. You got your hands over here, inward block, moving out of the way, like railroad tracks. And then when you're doing the punch, at the moment we're gonna go ahead and churn, I want you to tighten everything up. It's called dynamic. We'll do 7 of those and tighten it up. When we tighten it up, tighten up some muscles from your neck, your face as well. I was gonna show that in a different way, but just tighten it up through dynamic. Sensei Bill, again, when I was like about 14 years old, when I trained at Real Dojo Wine Campo in North Hollywood, probably 1974, Sensei Bill would go ahead and do dynamic. He has katas, like kata 1 or so, where there's a dynamic flower, this way, you know, and he would have us do like some dynamic. And on that dynamic, when we had my punch out there and everything tight, he would come with a stick, be hitting me on the shins, on the legs, on my stomach. He would swing that bamboo here, and it was just like, he was just like hitting my body with these bamboo stick, big old bamboo stick. And, but I didn't feel anything because you're in the dynamic right there. And basically at the moment of contact, you use your muscles. This dynamic is very powerful. Let's go ahead and do 7 of those. Ready? And move here, like it was a 1, inward block. And from here, throw the punch. And right here, I want you to go ahead and go, when you're gonna twist it, tighten up the muscles. I'm talking about muscles here, buttocks muscles, stomach muscles, chest muscles, arm muscles, neck muscles. For 1 second, as you make that turn, tighten it up. So we're gonna go ahead and do it. Ready? And tighten it up and relax. Ready? From here and inward block. For now, have your hand here, just for the dynamic practice. When you do the kata, you should have it back here over here. When you do some of the waza, you have it over here for practicing, learning purposes. Later on, when you're sparring, you don't want to have your hand there. You want to have your hand up here. So even if we do the strike right here, still dynamic on there. So, and relax. Ready, and ready. 3, dynamic, and relax. And 4, inward block. Tighten it up, hold it tight, and relax. All right, muscles, neck muscles, everything. You got about 4 right there, and 5. Tighten it up, relax. 6. Tighten it up, and relax. 7. Tighten 7 right there. There is a boxer, I saw him a couple years back, and his name is Daniel Furman. What I liked about this boxer is basically is that when I would go ahead and see him compete when he was younger, some of the early fights, probably some of the later fights too, but you can hear him, his breath. Breath is powerful. When you use your breath into a strike, you just saw the dynamic, it is very powerful. You have that energy in you, so you go ahead and use it as well when you do your strike, right? So, I mean, even if it's, I'm doing like waza 2, moving this side, I'm gonna go ahead. You use your breath, plus what I showed you here as well, excuse me. So, for the breath, basically, what I was gonna say is, he has that breathing. When you go ahead and go for a jog, okay, instead of taking the MP3, taking the earphones, once in a while go ahead and go for the jog early morning, and then when you go ahead and you're jogging, what I do is basically I start and you're making rhythms with my breathing as I'm running. And sometimes I'll go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and a theme song. I'll pick a theme song like from the movie Rocky, or even some of the classic ones, The Bionic Man, or something like that. So, but the idea is basically you can go ahead, and what I'm actually trying to say is to go ahead and, I can't explain it to you. When you start jogging and you start practicing, and you practicing the bag, whatever, start playing, making rhythms with your breath, because that's power that you have to apply as well. So do that, learning how to apply the breath here. So, let's go ahead and do it this way. Well, the two you already know, we're going to use the breath. The palm, punch, and using the breath and the dynamic. So let's go ahead and try it. Let's do 7 of those. Also number 2. And in. The breathing. Ready? Same thing on the other side. Here, right? The breathing. Ready? And other side, same thing. There we go. And there you go. And one more. Like that. Alrighty? So we got a lot covered here. Basically from now on, when you go ahead and use everything that we shared today, when you use all that, you're going to go ahead and be able to go ahead and break through the board, break through whatever you're striking, that 1 second, and very powerful. Do the sets that I showed you. Do 7 counts, 3 sets, of each one of them. Practice the left side, the right side. From now on, when you go ahead and do a kata, where your sense is telling you, upward block, punch, you're gonna do the punch like that with power, confidence, strength, okay? The last part, the most powerful energy of all. What is the most powerful energy of all? 2 fingers below our waist, our belly button, is your chi. When I throw a strike, and I'm gonna go ahead, I have to defend myself, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that strike, I'm gonna go ahead and do my block, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my chi and the dynamics and everything else I showed you. With the chi, I'm giving my life into what's behind, with that strike right there, and my torque, and my weight, and I'm just like putting my chi into there. So when you go ahead and do, like I said, the sensei tells you, step back, our block, punch, step a little bit here, here, it tells you upper block, put your chi there, put your chi into it, your life into the move right there. And basically, most of all, when you're gonna go ahead and put that chi, you put it with your ki. Alrighty? So that's the way the what do you call it? It's BTRP. BTRP, breaking the ribs punch. So do your wazas, do the katas that I demonstrated, and then from now on, when you're doing, whether it's basically you're doing kata one, kata first shodan, where they're actually doing one part, where is it on shodan, the kata shodan, they go ahead and go 1, 2, and the third strike, they say kiai. From now on, you go ahead and you put your life into the punch, and that's how you do it. If you master Waza 1 and Waza 2 with the science that I gave you right now, practice this, do it this way from now on, and I'll tell you, you basically, if you master this, you're going to be able to master everything else. All right. From Sensei Gary, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your patience. I know everybody knows I don't want to go ahead and, bring out the causes, but thank you so much for your patience. Like I said, subscribers and viewers, thank you so much. And I love you guys. I love our family, sense our love and blessings. Alrighty? Thank you.